Welcome to Two Millennials and Mom, where we bring you engaging conversations and respectful disagreement across the social spectrum.
Injected with the quirks of everyday life.
Curl up as we navigate the complexities of this modern world with all the humor and warmth we can muster.
And the occasional gentle ribbing. We're glad you're here. Happy listening.
We all like to think we could quit social media anytime we want. But then there's that one video that you just want to see how it ends. And before you know it, it's midnight and your thumb has muscle memory. And if you're wondering whether that's normal, well, that's exactly what we started wondering too. Today, we're talking about something we're all guilty of, our love-hate relationship with the scroll. We're talking about the science, the guilt, and the ridiculousness of how social media apps manage to keep us hooked, even when we know they're doing it.
Midnight? Those are rookie numbers. Yeah, my phone staged a mini intervention for me the other night. It popped up with one of those, "You've been on here for hours" alerts, which, first of all, rude. And since I'm on Android, it doesn't even try and be gentle about it, but it did make me wonder, if our devices have to remind us to go outside and touch grass, maybe we've crossed a line. I mean, everyone talks about needing to take a break from social media, but how many people actually take one? So are we addicted, or are the apps just that good at keeping us hooked? Either way, I'm starting to think this might be the most socially acceptable addiction out there. And if I'm being honest, that realization was about as comforting as Callie's screen time report.
Rude.
And for me, it's fascinating to watch how all this plays out across generations. You two grew up with social media. For many of your peers, it's almost part of your identity. Social media is this tool. It connects people, amplifies voices, makes the world feel smaller, but it also steals time, focus, and sometimes even joy. My generation didn't grow up with it, so sometimes we're still trying to figure out what a For You page even is. We can see both sides, the connection and the cost, but it all comes down to the same question. How do we stay connected without losing ourselves in the scroll? Because whether you're 25 or 55, nobody's immune.
So yeah, this might be the intervention that none of us asked for.
But probably one that we need.
Well, let's see if we can all make it through this episode without checking our phones. You want to take bets?
No.
Here's the thing. I think there are different applications, different use cases for social media. Like, I'm not using social media to connect with my friends and communicate with them or share with them what I'm doing at all. So, like, I'm not going and checking on notifications or scrolling through and seeing what they're like. I might go doom scroll and watch shorts, but that's with the questions that, like, I never post.
We found this quiz online that was talking about how addicted you are to how hooked you are to social media. And I'll make sure we put the link in the show notes. It was 6 questions maybe?
I think
It
so.
wasn't very
Something
long.
like that.
And so it ranked you based on your personal social media usage. And I scored the highest. I'm a casual Instagrammer. It said, while social media isn't hashtag everything to you, it still plays a role in your life. And you can't help but check to see what people are up to and let them know important event updates in your life, which I think is fair. So some of the questions were really simple, like how often or do you get on social media first thing in the morning? Do either of you?
Again, like, I might go, like, if I wake up, I may go check my text messages and somebody sent me a reel and I'll go watch it. Does that count as checking social media?
I don't think so.
I don't
think
either.
so. So I'm kind of the same way. That's not the first thing that I'm looking at. I'm looking at text messages. I'm reading the news, like actual news, not Instagram news. And if somebody sent me something, that may lead me over there. Now, eventually I'll get over there for sure. But I'm not over there all the time. In fact, I'm kind of really bad. Like, if you send me a message on Instagram, Mom can attest to this. It may be several weeks before I actually see it and get to it and go in and look at it. And so I'm like,
Me
"Well."
something on Instagram, I'm never going to see it.
I know, because I tag you in
This
things
is
for
true.
the podcast all of the time.
I mean, I just don't use Instagram at all.
So there's some statistics out there, some research that has been done that some TikTok users are reportedly opening the app hundreds of times a day. How often are either of you opening any social media app? I might be on TikTok twice a week. I'm on Instagram depending on what's going on. If we posted something and it's kind of blowing up or getting engagement, I'm going to be on there a little bit more. But I'm on Instagram by myself, like for entertainment value. I'm lucky if I'm on there once a day
Yeah,
because
I
I'm
mean,
exhausted.
I'm probably like, it's not uncommon for me to sit there and scroll. Like I'm usually consuming some form of media, be it a podcast, a YouTube video, an audio book,
Yeah,
or like even like between calls at work, like I may be scrolling through YouTube. Most of the time I'm watching long form content, but like it's not uncommon at all for me to go and scroll because they're so short, especially if it's like kind of a steady day where I don't have a lot of time between calls. Then
downtime.
a a 30 to 90-second clip is really easy to get in that time frame. But I mean, even then, a few
Not all the
times a
time, all
week
day long.
probably.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my screen time probably says that I'm there for a really long time because I tell my phone not to shut the screen off while it's paused. But like the amount of time that I'm like actively engaged with something like that is, I don't know, 3 to 5 hours a week probably.
See, I'm either going to be reading a book or listening to music every once in a while. And Cal, it's probably a trigger from you. If we've been talking that morning and I have a couple of minutes, that I'll click over onto Instagram and just see what's going on. I mean, I, I don't even believe that that's a daily occurrence for me.
So I know that it used to be, since you're so
More
apt
so.
to pass the buck over here.
Yeah.
When we were doing our planks every day, which we need to get back on, but when we were doing our planks every day, that was your way of getting through the plank. You went through and you were scrolling reels on
That's
Instagram
true.
to wander through. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Again, we're not doing 16-hour planks. We're doing
No.
90 seconds to 3 minutes on a good day,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that that was, you and I both talked about it. That was how we kind of passed that time to get through that 90 seconds, to get through that plank. And I don't think that that was bad.
No, I think we stayed there a couple of times, beyond
Yes, sitting there
planking.
afterwards.
Yeah, because we saw something that piqued our curiosity, oddly enough. But yeah, you're right. We should plank and all Instagram on that basis for my 90 seconds. But then I'm
So,
done, kind of.
yeah.
I'm giving myself a real quick accountability check here. I'm gonna go into my settings and see if I can find like time in apps this week.
Okay, so he's already picked up his phone.
So mom and I did this earlier.
Yeah, we cheated on you.
We didn't cheat. It's not cheating. We were preparing.
See,
I'm ill prepared today.
You good.
you're fine. What we found is that those stats aren't really very. Mine were turned off.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. I've got notifications turned off. I get text messages generally on my watch, but that's about it. I've got that all shut down because that annoyed me. It just interrupted my thought every time that was dinging. I couldn't do that. So everything is pretty much shut down as far as notifications. And I
I
have
spend,
to say, I take great pleasure in saying, no, do not notify me.
I
It's
love
true.
that. I think it should. It should give you great pleasure. I mean, but like my most used apps are things like my text messages, reading the news. I have Map My Run on here from where we walk and where I record those kinds of things. I've got some Pinterest time. I've got some Instagram time. And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And my Ring doorbell.
Yeah.
And most of
So
those I wouldn't consider social media.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I have messages, maps, Safari, notes, Shazam, because I was Shazamming music, my camera, photos, Instagram, and Chat GPT.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to get me on, Chat GPT or Google, I'm up there.
And I think that that counts as phone behavior, but less so as social media behavior,
Yeah.
depending on what you do with it.
do y'all remember your average daily screen time?
Mine literally, as we were sitting here talking about this, came up and what was it, Mom? 8 hours and 32 minutes of screen time per day for me.
But again, you had a couple of apps that were open all the time.
I do. So I spend a lot of time in the car driving to places. So I've constantly got my map open and things like that. I've constantly got, like, as I'm driving to places, I'm taking notes. So I've got a spreadsheet that is constantly open. And so I may or may not be on it. I'm always listening to an audiobook or a podcast. And so those things kind of skew it a little bit. But when I was working doing social media stuff every day, all day long, it was nothing for me to average 10 to 12 hours a day on my phone of actual, like, seat time on my phone, because
Yeah.
I'm posting stories and responding to messages and making website updates and all of these kinds of little things that all nickel and dime to death into this explosion of time. And when I was doing that, when I was doing it for work, I spent almost no time on my personal social media, because by the time I did it for work, I was done.
Yeah.
And I think that is certainly different when you're using it as a job. Like last week, I had a daily average screen time of just shy of 6 hours, which is better than I thought it would be. But again, I'm like, I'll leave a YouTube video up and playing, or a series of YouTube videos up and playing in the background while I'm at work. That's a
Yeah.
huge chunk of my screen time because, I mean, it's just kind of on all day.
Right.
I was at a party with some friends, I guess last week, and one of the wives brought up, because her husband has also retired. So she and I were talking about our husbands being retired. And she said the thing that they fight about the most, that they argue about the most, is his screen time. And I kind of had to laugh, because it's the thing that worries me about your dad is how much time he's spending. And so we both made a commitment. If you figure out how to get him off of that, let me know so I can use it too. Because they've worked. I mean, both of these guys have worked, you know, 50 plus years, and now then they don't have that schedule. So they're
You
getting
got time to
tapped.
fill.
Yeah, they're getting tapped into that. And then once you're on it, of course, your dad almost got in trouble this week because he had this song that he really thought was wonderful that I thought, buddy. I
Check
mean,
yourself before you wreck yourself.
yeah, it really was. Bless his heart. And it did have a really one sweet line in it, but the rest of it was pretty mean, I thought. And I thought, if you're talking about me, you're in a
This
lot of
better not
trouble here.
remind you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is the other thing. I mean, and I think that's a lot. What I've particularly seen between your dad and I is that I'm reading newspapers and he's TikToking, and our stories sometimes don't even feel like they're on the same planet about the same thing. We were talking about the Venezuela, the Caribbean boats that the Trump's having blown up in the Caribbean. And dad had this whole story about, oh, they're boarding these boats and and I was like, what are you talking about? They're not boarding these boats. And so, I mean, it's just it can be some contention. We'll just leave it at that.
The algorithm skew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
So
mean, I think there are plenty of studies that show that, I mean, it is kids, and I think kids are more susceptible to it, but too much of that time is changing our behaviors and changing our thing, causing some division.
so there was a study done last year talking about 5 to 13% of all users globally could be classified, like, of phone users could be classified as addicted. Do you guys think that addiction is the right word when we're talking about social media?
In a lot of cases, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of think it is.
I mean, what other word could you possibly use?
Session,
Yeah, I
Obsession.
mean, I think that's part of it though. But
priority.
I mean, I think for a lot of people, it is less an addiction to the actual social media and more an addiction to the dopamine hit.
Habit.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Or the time filler.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't even know if it's the dopamine as much as it is,
Oh, I think the
because you just
dopamine's
get
a
there
big part of
going,
it.
they're so short for the most part. And
And when you find a funny one to send to your friend, immediate dopamine hit.
Do you, like, how do you classify, like, the line in the sand? Like, where's your personal, this might be too much line for social media, using your phone devices?
If I look up and I've spent more than an hour scrolling, I'm like, okay, put your phone
Yeah.
down and do something else.
I have some friends who can't not pick their phone up. I mean, they can be sitting there talking to you and they can't not pick their phone up to, and maybe that's to answer a text, but sometimes it's to scroll. And it kind of
Really?
leaves me going, yeah, it kind of leaves me going, hey, here I am. Remember
Oh,
me?
here.
Yeah. So when you can't put it down and walk away, it's a line. The line has been crossed.
Yeah, I try and
Right.
make it a point. Like if we're gonna go sit down and have dinner, I'm gonna try and put my phone like on the kitchen counter, not right next to me.
Somewhere else. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I should practice that more.
So I was in the car yesterday with somebody else and had text messages that came in. Mom, you were one of them. Hey, where are you? What's going on? Hey, what's the plan for this? And I didn't even respond to them for a long time because I
Yeah.
wanted to be present with where I was, with the person I was in the car with, and the conversations that we were having. I cannot imagine sitting there at dinner and being like, "Oh, hold on really quick. Let me just run through Instagram real fast." Like that blows my mind. I mean, but I guess now that you say it, like, I've kind of seen it too.
Sure. I mean, I think if you walk into a restaurant and sit down and you look around at the tables around you, I'm going to guess 75 to 80% of them, somebody's on their phone. And your dad and I have done it too. But I hope that we've triggered something and we're just going, oh, wait, how old is that person? Or what does that
Yeah.
mean? Or, and it's just a temporary, but I've seen a lot of couples sitting at a table and they've both got their phone going and they're not talking to each other at all. I mean, that's going to get you a smack upside the head with me.
Yeah. So why do you think that social media is so addictive? I think that that infinite scroll, you can never, I make jokes, you can never reach the end of the internet. You're reading to
Yeah.
the end of the internet. I think that infinite scroll gives you endless, boundless opportunity to sit there and see more, get more, get more, get more, get more.
Yeah, it makes the world smaller.
You
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to.
I don't know if it makes my world smaller, if I feel like that, or if I feel like it's making the world bigger, that I'm seeing more things and more people.
Opening
I
your
mean, my
eyes to
favorite,
more.
Those things aren't as far away. They're not as distant when you can just get on your phone and access them, is what I
yeah.
mean.
I mean, I really want the funny stuff. There's a guy that pops up on my Instagram. He's sitting in his car and he's just talking. He's got a little, I'm going to say Jersey accent, and he's just a hoot. He just makes me laugh every time. And his are long. They're not short. His are sometimes pretty long, but he's really, and what he's saying is usually pretty right on. I mean, it's funny philosophical, which maybe is my weak point, but I like him. Or the old guy, older. There's a guy that always wears a different t-shirt and he's got such a dry sense of humor and he's just so funny. I can't even think of what his name is. See, that's how tuned in I am this. You have to be there or I'm not gonna know who you are. I mean, Callie, you and I were talking about one this morning that you said you love watching them. They talk about music, but you have no idea what their names are.
I don't have a clue.
Funny
And
So
I would
dog
recognize
videos
them if
and
I saw
kids
them.
falling off stuff.
Yeah.
that's funny.
That's it for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that social media was designed with the intention to grab your attention. And so I think that then you've got things that kind of aid in that task, like push notifications. I think that those push notifications are intended to keep us coming back. Hey, Cole, your friend Cole just posted a video. He hasn't posted in a while. You should go check it out. Hey, that person that you interacted with their video, they just posted a new one. Go see it now. Don't miss it. And it's very much very Pavlov's law, like we just keep going back for more every single time they push one. So
I'm
I
so
wanted
tired
to
of push
ask, like,
notifications.
Why aren't they turned off then, Boo?
They are. I go through and have turned many of them off. The vast majority of them I've turned off, but like I still have it on for like my email so that I can see
Yeah.
when you or Pam are sending me something. Like I'm not going to turn off push notifications for text messages. I want to know when someone's trying to reach me. But
Yeah.
like YouTube, Facebook,
Now,
TikTok, all of those
all of
are
that for me
turned
is
off.
turned off.
Problem is those all send stuff to my email constantly, and I'm just like, ugh, shut up.
Yep.
Can't
So
you turn
which
those
app
off
do
too,
you
though?
Email?
I mean, push notifications from social media.
I have the push
you could go
notifications from
into the
social turned off, but I don't have my email turned off, and they email me
Oh,
constantly.
I get
but
it.
you could go into each social media app and say, "Hey, instead of sending me a push notification or an email about X, don't."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Which app would you say is the biggest culprit for trying to grab your attention and keep it?
Oh, I think they're
Facebook.
all horrible. But that's tough. Like YouTube sends a ton of notifications. Facebook, if you have them turned on, sends a ton of notifications.
But I think Facebook is because I really am anti Facebook, but I've gone a couple of times because I've been looking for some particular people. And when you go in, there are those reels, and they're just enough, and they give you this sweet story, and you think this is going to be, and I find myself clicking, and then it's this, I mean, really adorable, and you're thinking, this is crap.
10-minute story.
This is not, I bet you money this is not true. That's where the one with the little girl, the sex trafficking, and her motorcycle uncle in the Walmart, and it wasn't true at all. And so I'm really irritated with Facebook that that's the first thing up. Not my friends, not the people that I would want to know things about, but these fake reels are going on. And Instagram has changed their format, and I'm livid with that. I mean, Callie can attest to this. I call her and go, what the heck have they done? I can't even get my own stuff out of here. And so, I mean, I think that's the addiction is they're putting this stuff right in front of you in place of what you want,
Yeah.
in place of the things that you'd be interested in.
Yeah. I mean, and Facebook right now is absolutely inundated with ads, a lot of which are scams. I mean, a lot of them. I was scrolling, this was probably 3 or 4 months ago, and I saw an ad for a drone, and they were talking about this is the best drone you can get, and we've got it. It's only $100, and I was like, something doesn't smell right here. So I went to the site that it links to, and they have a picture of a very specific model and brand of drone that is in those pictures very clearly marked as being this specific brand. Well, if you go to the brand website, this is a almost $4,000 drone, and they're selling it allegedly for $100. And so you're like, this is fake. This is not real. So I went to Facebook and reported that ad and said, hey, this is very clearly a scam, just so you know. And they said, okay, we'll remove it from my feed. Not from everyone's, because they came in, thanks Google, now Google's listening to me. So they came in and they were like, thanks for reporting, but not a scam. Basically saying they paid for this ad,
We're
so we're
not
not going to
worried
take
about
it down. And then I scroll, immediately it's the exact same ad with a link to a different, it's the same website, but it's a different URL. And so I'm like, I just reported basically the exact same ad, and you're just feeding it to me again. So I went and reported that one. And I literally went on a mission that day and just started scrolling, trying to find more of that same ad so that I could go and comment on all of them and report all of them to say, hey, this is fake. This is a scam. Don't spend your money with these people.
I was literally just getting ready to ask if you've ever felt manipulated by a specific feature on one of these social media apps.
What do you mean?
Besides the ads. So what kind of led me down this page is Duolingo, which, Mom, you can sit here and argue is not social media, but you have friends and you're sharing your progress and your status updates and everything, and you're trying to be social. You're sending gifts back and forth and congratulating each other and all of these things as you're learning various languages. And Duolingo has very, very openly come out and talked about how their marketing tactic is all done via emotional manipulation. We want you to
And that
feel
it's
bad.
successful with that Gen Z
Yes.
group,
Yes.
even
We
though
want
they're
you
a
to
little
feel
bit.
bad for not hopping on here
Yeah.
to learn Spanish
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And so we were having this conversation this morning, Cole, and she was like, I don't know that it's social media, and I don't know that they're manipulative. And I literally got a push notification right then that came through, and it was like, your energy's full. You need to go do a Spanish lesson right now. And I was like, screw you, Duolingo. I am not interested. Leave me alone. And I am very much an advocate for going in and turning off all of those notifications, but I don't do it with Duolingo because I don't want to screw up my streak. Then I would feel bad and I would feel guilty and I would have to use my freeze. And like, this is ridiculous. I'm trying to
Oh,
learn
that's fine.
Spanish so that I can get better. I don't need all of the rest of this drama.
Yeah.
And
But you
they're
said
good at
something the
drama.
other day. You've been doing Duolingo every day for how long now?
477 days as of last night.
And do you think your Spanish is better?
Do I think it's 477 days better? Absolutely not.
So how does
It's
Duolingo
frustrating.
generate income?
By
Subscriptions.
subscriptions and ad revenue. If you're not paying for a subscription, you have to watch an ad after every single lesson that you do, all
There
of
it
these
is.
different pieces. Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's all
if you're
money.
subscribed, they want you interacting every day to keep your subscription. If you're not subscribed, they still want you to interact every day so they can keep your ad revenue.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, there's a very old internet adage. If you're not paying for something, you're the product.
Yeah. I get that.
I'm really curious, what is one like feature or design choice within kind of your social media realm, whatever that looks like to you, that you think should be illegal? That you think you should be able to say, I'm out.
Well, I think all those fake ads.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to take this one slightly off of social media and more into the video game world. For my gamers out there, I'm sure you're aware of microtransactions, but a lot of these games have a system where you have to go and buy a different currency. So you have to go buy game currency with real money. I think that should be illegal. I think that they should say, hey, we're going to put dollars on this and you can pay for it in dollars, instead of saying, oh, if you spend $20, we're going to give you 100 mega crystals or Starbucks or whatever it is.
XP, mom.
Well,
We had
yeah,
XP and Duolingo.
yeah. So converting things into, because that's a tactic to say, oh, well, now you went and you spent the money, but now it's something else. It's no longer money. It's a different type of thing. So it has a tendency to skew the value of things in
Yeah.
those games.
Your brain calculates it differently.
It's
Yes.
not costing you. It's just the game token.
Well, I mean, and it's another way of hiding how much a lot of that stuff actually costs.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think your brain is just thinking differently on it.
So I want to chat about, we're talking so much about social media and the addiction kind of habits, but I want to talk about kind of the impacts that take place in your life off of your phone, off of social media, due to all of this usage, right? So have you guys heard of phubbing?
Mm-mm.
So phubbing is a technical term, the practice of ignoring one's companion in order to pay attention to your phone or other devices. Raise your hand if you're guilty.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
Cole, aren't you just the perfect little angel?
I just don't have a significant other to ignore.
He's pretty good, though. Even if he's listening to something, if you walk in the room, he's going to shut that down so that he can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm talking to him and he's thinking, oh my God, she's talking again. So he just stops. He's gotten, routine about this now.
Well, somebody will come in and they'll start talking to me and I'll have to say, hang on, I can't hear you. I'm listening to something. And then I'll
Yeah.
pause that something, take my earbuds out and say, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah. He's pretty nice about it, honestly. And I think I've trained him well enough now that he just kind of disconnects and goes, "What, Mom?"
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, here's
I
the
mean, but
thing.
I think,
Everything that I'm interacting with, I can pause and rewind. It's not like I
Yeah.
can't get back to it. So there's
yeah.
You
no
know,
reason, there's no rational thing to say, oh, me listening to this consumable piece of media that I can listen or consume anytime is as or more important than an actual interaction with someone that I love and care about.
Boo, I think that's really a valid point.
Yeah.
It's
And I think it's
all
an admirable quality to say, hey, I am
yes.
prioritizing the actual real life blood and sweat people in front of me over my phone.
Yeah.
So some of those additional kind of off the phone impacts kind of translate into sleep loss. It's like you mentioned earlier, Cole. We're watching one more video, and before you know it, it's the wee hours of the morning because you're on that doom scroll, going, going, going. Just one
Yeah.
more video, just one more video. It leads to anxiety in all of us. And, we have a world like running rampant with people who are being diagnosed with ADD and ADHD and anxiety and depression. And then we're sitting here fanning those flames by all of this FOMO and look at how great so and so his life is, and look at how much they're doing and they've accomplished, and you're not doing any of this. And I just think that sucks. Like we talked about it here several
Maybe it's
episodes
because you're sitting
ago.
here watching them do it on Facebook.
Yes. We're treating the symptoms, not the problem, not
Yeah.
the cause. And
Yeah.
social media is a bad salve.
Yeah. And,
Kind of that
kind
irony
of,
of being connected but lonely.
yeah. And, to back up here for just a second, talking about putting your phone down when someone's trying to interact with you, I know what it feels like to get ignored because someone is prioritizing their phone over the interaction that I'm trying to have. And
Mhm.
it doesn't feel good. And it adds to all of that anxiety and depression that you're talking about when,
Yeah.
when, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Hang on. I have to finish scrolling. Or,
Yeah.
hey, what do you want to have for lunch? Hang on. I'm finishing this post. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
Your dad
I'll
can
just go
get in
do my
so
own
much
thing.
trouble. Yeah. Your dad can get in so much trouble because he's scrolling and I'm saying something to him and he's pretending to listen or he's trying to listen, but he's really not. And when it finally, connects with me, you do not have his attention. Then I'm pissed. Then I'm ready to just smack him. And he knows that. And that's when it'll go down and he'll go, I'm sorry, what were you saying? But then I'm done. I don't want to have that conversation anymore. You missed your opportunity to talk to me.
I don't think that's really totally fair, though. Because if I'm already
Oh,
doing something and then you start to try and talk to me, and you're mad that I'm not listening when you're talking to me when I was not already had my attention focused on you. Like, I get what you're saying, but I think you have to give them the opportunity
okay.
to say, hey, I'm sorry, let me put this down and can we start over?
Yeah.
But they also have to do that.
Yeah. Well, and I think sometimes that needs to start a little bit earlier. There's a recognition there of you want to have a conversation. Let
Right.
me set this
But
down.
you as the person trying to initiate that conversation, I think in some instances have to be a little bit more, because if we've been sitting on the couch next to each other and we're both on our iPads and we've been
Yeah.
just kind of chatting back and forth, that's one thing. And then all of a sudden now there's a conversation that you want to have happen. I think there needs to be some clear intention of that stated, because changing those gears without knowing that those gears are changing can be really difficult to interpret if your attention is not already there.
The
Okay.
demand for attention, that expectation has to be set.
But if we were really sitting in a room having a conversation, wouldn't you know that? And so what I'm
Right, which
trying to
is, I
say,
think, the point.
no,
I
what I'm
think that
trying
is
to
the
say
point.
is that I think we allow social media to take away from being personal with each other. And
Very.
I hear what you're saying. I'll start holding my hand up. Hey, I want to really have a conversation here. I mean, sometimes I think that's identified when you walk into the room and sit down and lean forward. But, you know,
Right. But if I'm not already engaged with you, if my attention is somewhere else, I don't know that you've walked into the room and sat down and have leaned forward.
I know. But I think
You know,
if that if you weren't scrolling, you would have noticed that already. And so I think it takes away from a little bit of the humanity of this, of having a conversation. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. I think there's a way to meet in the middle on that.
I agree.
you know, Taylor Swift's a new album just recently dropped, and there's a line in there that has been kind of a media frenzy that she's throwing shade at one of Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriends. And the line says, "Felt alone, you were in it for real. She was in her phone and you were just a pose." And so I think that we have to remember, like, this is something that we're all dealing with, that we're all up against. And
Yeah.
so recognizing that and being willing to address it, and whatever that address looks like for you and your significant other, your companions, your friends, it may look different for you than it does for me. And I think that that's okay. And we have to be open to that, but we have to be open.
And I think we have to be really cognizant. I mean, I think it's really important that when you say, "Hey, let's go to lunch," that when you get there, you put your phone away. Because is there really, I mean, and I know that there are some exceptions, but for the most part, can't you give another person 45 minutes or an hour of undivided
Right.
attention?
Right.
Isn't that what the point of going to lunch with each other is? And so I think you have to be really cognizant. I mean, I think about this and think, don't even pull your phone out of your purse. You don't need it. I'm probably more guilty, Callie, of responding to you because you come in on my watch, not just my phone because my phone's put away, but responding to a text from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
There are a few things that over the last probably 4 or 5 years, two of the biggest, maybe symptoms is not exactly the right word, but things that I see that I see we as a society have, for the most part, just completely go by the wayside: accountability and intentionality. You have to do things
Yeah.
with intention, because if you don't,
Yeah.
you're not present.
Right.
Yeah.
Where
And
are
so,
you?
like, I have this conversation with people all of the time. Like, you're doing this thing. Why are you doing it? Like, what is the reason? Like, I'm
What's your
doing it
what?
because I want the end result to be this. Well, not exactly what I meant. Like, what signals are you utilizing to say this is a good decision?
So we had an interaction one time. We were sitting in a meeting and going over a bunch of numbers for work. And the person that we were talking to about the numbers said, "Hang on just a second. I need just a second." He walks out of the room. He comes back in with a calculator. And somebody kind of thought they were gonna have a gotcha moment. They're like, "Your phone is sitting right there. There's a calculator on your phone. Why didn't you just use that?" And he had such a good, valid answer. He responded, "Because I want you to know that I am fully focused on what it is that we're talking about, not doing something else. Because on my
Wow.
phone, it could be anything." And that moment, I mean, it was several years ago now, that moment has stuck with me going, "Oh, I wanna make sure that you know that you're my focus and you're my priority. That's my way of being intentional with you. I don't
Yeah.
want you to think, 'Oh god, she's scrolling on Instagram again. Oh god, she's answering a text message or reading an email.' I'm here with you having this conversation and this discussion in this room."
I
Yeah.
think you have to really make a point, and I'm not saying that I'm great at this, but I think you have to make a decision. I'm gonna put my phone down for X. You know, and that may be time at work. I mean, everything nowadays has, I can't remember what they call it, but uninterrupted time where you can set that and we can do that. We can do that at work. We can do that when we're home with our family. We can do that when we're out with a friend, but it's a conscious effort to say, this is not, this device is
Not my
not the,
priority.
yeah, not the most important thing to me. This person is,
Well, and I
or,
think that
or my
that
health is.
yeah, I think that that intentionality is a is a muscle, is a habit. The more that you exercise it, the better and the easier it gets. It may be hard to wake up every day and not hop on your phone within the first 15 minutes. But if you start putting your phone in the other room on the charger, even in the bathroom, if it starts ringing in the middle of the night, you would hear it, fine. But what if it gets easier? It gets easier the more that you do it. Making that choice, hey, I'm going to leave my phone in my bag. I'm going to leave my phone in my pocket. I'm not even going to set it up on. I've seen research done about whether or not you set it face up or face down on a table makes people feel a certain way. I'm not even going to set it on the table. It's not part of this discussion. And doing it one time feels kind of weird. Doing it a second time feels a little bit more empowering. Doing it a third time, you're building a habit.
Yeah. Identifying the
So,
priority.
yeah. So let's kind of flip all of this on its head a little bit. Is it all bad? Is all of social media, all of that connection bad?
No, but just like with anything else, you can drink too much water.
Oh, yeah. Too much of a good thing is a
You
bad
can
thing.
have too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, and again, if you had control of your focus, if you had control of what you got to see, and granted, there are things out there that I might not ever see. I might not ever see the Jersey guy because I don't, I don't know anything about him. So
Yeah, I think
I
it
don't know how
gives
you
you an
introduce new
opportunity.
things, but I just wish I had a little, maybe if we could control our own, and then there's this little wave over here, the For You page that, you know, introduce something that I might be interested in that I
Yeah.
could go to on my own. But like, I think right now, that's the first thing that you get when you get to Instagram now, isn't it? That's the first thing that opens up. So it's not people that I'm following, not things that I, have selected on my own. It's what
Stuff we think
Instagram
that you
is.
want.
It's stuff that Instagram is shoving down my throat. So I don't think it's all bad. I just think we need to have a little bit more control.
And I think that we need to focus on some of that good. I think that we need to focus on some of that connection. Hey, I haven't talked to so and so in a while, but they live in a different state. Let me shoot them a Facebook message just for that connection. Be intentional with that time.
I mean, I know you say that, but why can't you just text them?
You can. You can. But I think that that still requires the same intentionality. It's not, I'm just going to go scroll their page and check on all of their updates and quietly lurk over here. I'm going to make a habit and make a move to reach out to them in whatever form that may be. And then I also think that we need to have a little bit of a discussion slash debate on if they're internet friends, do they not count as real friends?
Not all the time.
You elaborate on that for me a little bit?
So there are people that I personally have interacted with on the internet that I've never met in person. And I think some of those relationships, for a lack of a better word, have brought value to my life, to their lives. And so I think that there is this kind of stigma that internet friends aren't real friends, they don't count, that I think is unfair. Just because I have not met them in real life, because they live across the country, across the globe, doesn't make their input in my life or mine into theirs, their significance in each other's lives, less valuable, less productive. I mean, I think that that's one of the coolest parts of social media is it is able to allow you to connect to people that you might not. Think of somebody who has autism in a small town. Maybe they're the only person who has autism in a small town, but then they could connect on a Facebook group for people with autism that understand their struggle and understand what they're up against. And so I feel like it's kind of in some regards like a modern day pen pal. Hey, I've
Yeah.
never met you. I've never been in your shoes, but we're sitting here communicating. And sometimes that's fun and silly and goofy. And sometimes that's, hey, I just want you to know that I am rooting for you. I'm cheering for you. I'm so excited that you had this win. I'm celebrating it with you from 12,000 miles away.
I think there's a line though there. I
Sure.
mean, you and I used to do Young House Love. we watch their children, them have children and their children grow up and they'll move houses and redo houses. And we called them by their first names like they were our very best friends because we were so connected into what was, but it's just a piece of that. It walked up to me in real life. Number one, I would be too embarrassed to say anything to them, but they don't know, they don't have the reverse of that where they know me.
Yeah.
Even if I may have, sent them some
Communication of whatever kind.
Yeah, thanks. Some communication of some they're not getting the same response to me. So we have to be cognizant that it's a relationship. I kind of view it the same as if I'm reading somebody's book series, you and I talked about that. So I had an author that has just tickled me that I've been reading this week because she's just got the Southern dialect down and has just entertained me so much and I don't very often go back and go, but this person I thought, I'd like to be your friend. Your brain's a little scary to me. Your mind's a little scary, but I think I could do it and I'd like to be your friend. I don't think it's much different than that for somebody on the internet. You're interacting with their creativity. You're seeing that part of them, I started to say, that part of them. And in some ways you do. So there is a connection there, but it's a one-sided.
I think that that's fair and true, but I don't think that it's always the case. I don't think that it's always only that. Number one, I have met John and Sherry of Young House Love in real life, in person, and given hugs and all of this. And Callie, the name, was up for grabs in their debate when they were naming their daughter. And so we had a whole conversation about that. I also know that Sherry from Young House Love has become internet friends with people that turned into real life. We're going to vacation together and stay at each other's houses and spend time and be each other's sounding boards and communication and community because we just happened to meet online. Her and Carmion Hamilton are thick as thieves.
But again, that's not just interaction with their social media. They've gone beyond that into
But that's how it started.
Yeah, I think
get
what
how it
Callie is saying is
started.
that that's kind of counter to what we're saying here is like, and maybe I don't see this the same way because I have lots of friends that I've never met in real life. Lots of
You're a
them.
gamer.
Yeah, in the gaming community, that's extreme. Like these aren't just my internet friends. They're not less than
Right.
my real life friends because I've never met them in real life. I interact with them online, but that doesn't make us less friends.
Pen
But
palish.
there's that old adage of there are different kinds of friends. You have friends that you allow to come and knock on your door and communicate and chat. You have friends that you allow into your living room and into your kitchen to come and break bread and share a meal. You have friends that may come into the backyard and play with your kid or play with your dogs. And then you have friends that you allow to come into your bedroom when you're having a shit go of it and crawl into bed with you and hold you to say, hey, it's okay. Hey, I'm going to help you get through this.
Yeah.
Like there are all of these different levels of friends. And just because it started out on the internet or just because you haven't met them yet doesn't change. It doesn't say, hey, they're only qualified to be this level of friend.
I mean,
The
but the
connection
truth
does.
is somebody that you're just interacting with on the internet isn't that person who's going to come in that you can call at 3:00 in the morning and say, I need help.
That's not
But
true.
sometimes it starts
Because
there.
sometimes they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're the person who's online at 3 a.m. that you can talk to.
Yeah. I think that there's more to it than that.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean, and I think I just don't interact that much.
I think
That
that's true.
it doesn't feel like that to me, but
And I think there's certainly some validity to that, but I also think that there's a vastly different perspective for online interaction. Like to me, interacting with someone through my Xbox really isn't all that different than interacting with someone out at a bar.
On the phone.
Yeah. Whereas you interacting with someone, but the interactions are very different. Watching the content that someone creates is very different than going on a quest and defeating a dragon with them. I mean, really and truly, though.
Liking a post is really different than having a back channel conversation with them in messages saying,
Yes.
hey, how did you do this? Or this is what I thought, or I want to encourage you, or hey, whatever it may be. I think that there are different levels of that interaction too.
I think what I'm trying to say is I think you can assume a relationship like me. I've never talked to John and Sherry, but I've watched their life. You know, we anticipated those posts. We talked about them like they were our friends. But I've never, and I just think I have to be aware that they are internet interactions where you may have a deeper relation because you did have personal interactions with them. And I'm cautioning about assuming that you know this person when you really don't know this person. And that's
But
different
I
than
think that
having
that's the
interactions.
same. I think that that's the same in reality too. You've got Wanda, who is your best friend. And I know Wanda, and I have met Wanda, and I have spent time in Wanda's home. But I don't go to breakfast with Wanda every other week, and I don't go get my toes done with Wanda. And we sit here and talk about her and what you guys have been up to or what's going on in her kids' lives and all of this. And that doesn't change the fact that she's a great friend to you and that you guys are really close. That just makes our level of friendship different between you and her and me and her.
Yeah.
And so I think that that goes back to the intentionality of what friendship and what connection actually is and looks like. So Cole's talking about going and slaying a dragon, and that's his interaction. That is a whole feat that they have to work through trials and tribulation. And and this is no knock on you, Mom, you may go and like the post. How often are you commenting on them? How often are you sending them a message? And so I think that that just goes to show that those relationships can look different for everybody. And it
Yes.
doesn't make one person's right or wrong or better or worse. It just makes them different.
I'm in total agreement with you. I just think there are some people who assume a relationship because of what they see repeatedly and not because they have a relationship.
I think that's
I
true
think
too.
we have to be realistic,
Yeah.
yes, with our expectations and what that actually is and means and
Yeah.
does on a day-to-day basis, yes. So, do you guys think that social media can ever be used responsibly or no, because it's designed to manipulate us and to hook us and to beat us every time?
I
I
think
think
we've
it would
talked
take a
about this a little
major
bit.
renovation.
Yeah. I think it would be extremely difficult. It requires a very high level of accountability from each individual interacting with it.
Personally.
And I don't know that enough people are conscious enough to participate. And I do think
I
that
would
there
agree.
are certainly some very predatory practices on many of these platforms. And to be
Oh, yeah.
perfectly honest, even if there weren't, I still think that there is some danger just in their function if you are not using them with intentionality and holding yourself accountable. I mean,
Yeah.
because addiction is addiction. It just is. I think I'm with Mom here. I think not only would there need to be some pretty serious reform in the implementation by these platforms themselves and how they are pushing themselves at people. And I think that it would take a pretty significant, and like, I don't even know if this would really be like a cultural shift. I think that would be a part of it, but it would require everyone who is using them to hold themselves
Buy
accountable.
in.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I see it from a different perspective. It's going to take the platforms themselves because, I mean, and I'm shocked that Cole hasn't said this. The whole point is to monetize this. And if you create a responsible platform, you could lose a lot of that. You would at least have to shift how that is monetized and how
Yeah.
people interacted. And so you've got to start there. And what incentive do they have to do that?
Yeah. So do
And
you
you have
think
to
that
go
the
to the people.
burden Do you think that the burden to improve social media, to use it more responsibly, is on us, or is it on the platforms, or is it on both? 'Cause it sounds to me like, Cole, you think it's kind of on both.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. A heroin addict is not going to beat their addiction living at a dealer's house. It's just not going to work that way.
I agree.
That's just how addiction operates.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I genuinely, I think it would take both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting analogy, but apropos.
Yeah. Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. So I wonder if I think that there is some benefit to us challenging ourselves. We talked about accountability, challenging even just the three of us and anybody listening to try a couple of small changes in their lives to be better about this, to be less addicted. And
Yeah.
I think that those can, like I said earlier, maybe that's putting your phone in the bathroom to charge at night instead of on your nightstand or under your pillow. But what if we committed? I'm curious as to if the two of you would do it with me. Can the three of us commit to 1 day a week, taking 1 day off of social media?
I think that would be easier for Cole and I.
I mean, you say that, but again, sometimes I don't bust into them because I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
So maybe we do media-free Mondays or something because
Okay.
I like alliteration. And then we have all talked about we should remove those notifications. We should unsubscribe to those emails. What if we spent 15 minutes this next week to sit down and monitor, limit some of those notifications, remove some of those, and dedicate a few minutes to I want to take some of those notifications, some of those noises out of my life.
Yeah.
Because it probably takes you more than 15 minutes. Just saying.
What if it's just one? What if it's just one? You don't have to do every single app there
Sure.
is, but whoever you think is your biggest offender for you, which I think is different for all three of us, go take and tackle the biggest offender, just those notifications on that. I'm going to see if I can turn marketing emails and marketing notifications off on Duolingo. I don't need that drama in my life.
But, and I know you said that you keep them on there so that you don't lose your streak, but why not just set a timer
Yeah,
that
exactly.
says at 9:30 I'm
Callie,
going
do
to
your
do,
Spanish.
yeah, do your Spanish.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. I do
And
not need those notifications sitting here poking and prodding me, feeling guilty and adding more shit to my life so that I can do 7 minutes worth of a Spanish lesson.
here's the stupid part, Cal. I'm still getting notifications from them, and I haven't been doing them since July. I
It's
haven't,
probably the worst
I've not,
one is getting notifications from stuff that I don't even use and not turning them off.
yeah,
Just being like, shut up. I don't care.
yeah. I think we need to be a little bit more aware and take those things out of our lives. It's got to
Proactive.
be, yeah, do a little cleanup.
And
Yeah.
then I would also encourage all three of us to pay better attention. One of the metrics in the screen time tools that at least is on my phone is how many times a day you pick up your phone.
That was scary.
It was really scary.
So I did turn mine on because I also had that turned off. So I did turn that on because I'm really curious how often I do pick it up and what I'm picking it up for.
Yep. So keep an eye on it. We'll report back and see what we've
Yeah.
learned and how much guilt we can shed.
Okay. You want to take our little quiz?
Yeah.
Okay. Are y'all ready?
So Mom found the ultimate social media trivia quiz. And
Yeah.
I think it's kind of silly and almost feels kind of counterintuitive, but I think that she's going to administer it to Cole and I to see how tuned in we are to some of these things.
I think y'all can do this. What's the
I'm not sure
maximum?
I want to, though. That's the problem. I want to be
I get
bad
it.
at this stuff.
What's the maximum character limit of a tweet on Twitter after the increase adopted in 2017?
244
280.
characters.
Let me give you the options: 140, 280, 320, 1000.
280.
Yeah, I'll have to go
Because
with
it was
280.
140, and then I think they doubled it.
That is correct. Okay. Which platform was known for its 6-second looping videos before shutting down in 2017?
Vine.
Snapchat, TikTok, Periscope. Vine, that is correct. Which social media app first introduced the stories format to share ephemeral content in 2013? Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Snapchat.
Snapchat and Instagram copied it.
Okay, that is correct. Who first proposed using the hashtag to group topics on social media in 2007? Systrom, Jack Dorsey, Chris Messina, Evan Spiegel. I know none of those names.
I know
don't
Jack
either.
Dorsey was a Twitter guy, and so I think it started on Twitter. I'm going to go Jack Dorsey.
But you with her?
I'm sure. I have no idea.
Ooh, Callie, you're wrong. It's Chris
Great, excellent.
Messina.
I never used Twitter,
and it
so
doesn't tell me who Chris Messina is. So which logo features a ghost icon and represents an app known for disappearing messages?
Snapchat.
Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Reddit.
Snapchat.
I have a little guy. You said Snapchat, waving at me. Correct. Who's the co-founder and longtime CEO of Facebook? Evan Spiegel, Reed Hastings, Mark Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg.
Okay, that one. Even I knew that one. Which platform popularized the blue verification check mark to denote authentic accounts? YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Twitter. And then they screwed it all up when it turned into X, and now anybody can have one. You just have to pay for it. It's a subscription.
On most social media platforms, what does DM stand for? Data
Direct
mail?
message.
Dual.
Yep.
I kind of like the other option was digital mention.
Okay, boomer.
Which metric measures the percentage of people who clicked on a link after seeing a social media impression?
Click-through rate.
Click-through rate, engagement rate, conversion rate, bounce rate.
Click-through.
Click-through rate.
Oh man, y'all are getting all these.
That's a bad thing.
It is the primary ranking signal Instagram uses to order posts in a user's main feed. Post recency, engagement signals, number of hashtags, follower content.
Engagement.
Hashtag.
Nope, it's engagement. Which social network uses the term pins for saved content? Pinterest, Flipboard, Reddit, Tumblr.
Pinterest.
What is the name of Facebook's system for bidding on ad placements? Facebook Ad Auction, Real Time Bidder, Beast, Ad Exchange.
Ad exchange.
Facebook Ad Auction. That's interesting. Which API does Twitter provide for developers to request tweet data and account information? Search API, Graph API, Streaming Graph API, REST API.
No clue.
I'm going to say search. I would be wrong. REST API. On social media, reach most accurately refers to which of the following? The number of unique accounts that saw your content, total clicks on a post, total video views, number of followers gained.
Say
The
those
first
for me
one.
one more time.
The number of unique accounts that saw your content, total clicks on a post, total video views, total number of followers gained.
I would say it's either A or C.
I think it's A.
We're going to go with A. That's correct. Which feature
it's
on
unique.
Facebook allows businesses to display and sell products directly on their page? Business Suite, Shops, Marketplace, Collections.
Shops.
Business Suite.
It's Shops. Cole is right. Which filter is not included in Instagram's native filter set? Gotham, Valencia, Clarendon, Mayfair.
Gotham.
Mayfair.
Yes. In what year
They
did
don't really use those as much anymore.
what year
This must
did
be an
Elon
old
Musk
quiz.
complete his acquisition of Twitter?
2022.
19, 21, 22.
22.
Yeah.
Yep. What's the primary purpose of the Clubhouse social media app? Photo sharing, short videos, audio-based chat rooms, text forums.
I'm going to say audio-based chat rooms.
That would be my guess. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's 6 more of these. Y'all want to keep going?
Why not? Might as
Which
well.
algorithmic change did Facebook implement in 2018 to boost meaningful interactions? EdgeRank 2.0, Meaningful Social Interactions, MSI, News Graph, or Deep Feed?
I think it's Edge Rank.
Meaningful Social Interactions.
Is that when they added like the thumbs down feature and the heart rather than just the like? I don't
Oh,
know.
I bet that's what it is. What is the recommended aspect ratio for full screen TikTok videos?
9 by
4 to
16.
3, 16 to 9, 1 by 1, 9 by 16.
9 by 16, not 16 by 9.
Which social network introduced ephemeral text post called fleets in 2020? Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Gotta be LinkedIn.
You think?
I have no
Twitter.
idea.
What program does YouTube use to pay eligible content creators? YouTube Red, YouTube Music, Google Ads, AdSense.
It's AdSense.
What major change did LinkedIn announce for its feed algorithm in 2020? Trending hashtags only video content, prioritizing original posts from users, removing the like button.
Can you read the question again?
What major change did LinkedIn announce for its feed algorithm in 2020? Trending hashtags only video content, prioritizing original posts from users, removing the like button.
I'm going to say prioritizing original posts.
That's what I thought. You're correct. Which European regulation significantly affects how social media platforms handle personal user data? CCPA, COPPA.
Read the question one more time,
DMCA.
because DMCA is not European.
Which European regulation significantly affects how social media platforms handle personal user data?
Yeah, no, DMCA is copyright material.
I think it's GDPR. Y'all know? Okay.
I'm a
Yay!
clue.
Look at me.
Good job.
Which two neutral network types are primarily cited as key components of TikTok's For You recommendation algorithm? Okay. Feed forward neural networks and Boltzmann machines, recurrent neural networks, and convolution neural networks, transformer models and k-means clustering, generative adversarial networks, and autoencoders. Cole, you're the TikTok guy.
I'm going to say B and D.
I'm not that deep. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's C.
You think it's which
Okay.
one?
C.
C and D.
C. You can only choose one.
Those were only one each.
Oh, and it skipped it. It didn't tell me which it was.
Oh, no.
I don't even know how this works because it's giving me a score of 19 out of 25. Okay, so I get that. But then it says, so they must have had easy, medium, hard, and expert. And we didn't get any out of expert. We got 6 out of 8 on hard, 6 out of 8 on medium, and 7 out of 8 on easy.
76.
Whatever. Anyway.
You
we got
know,
C.
like I said, I didn't want to do great on this. Yeah. I'm not mad about that. Yes. So our weird thought this week comes from Mecha Trueblood, who has been using her little pocket computer to verify the ages of random people that she just thinks these people are so old after she has given us such a hard time of calling people old. And then she goes and verifies their ages, and they're the same age as, say, dad or younger
They're
than
younger
dad.
than dad. They're often younger than dad. And so I'm just like, holy cow. I mean, you think that they're a million years old and then you Google it and no.
Well, I think that that just goes to show that you gave us such a hard time about calling all these people old. I saw this old lady, and we just really suck at ages.
I wish it was appropriate that you could go up to people and ask them how old they were. I would love to know sometimes because
Don't get
depending
offended when
on
somebody walks up and asks you how old you are next time.
I was going to say, how would you do if somebody came up and asked you that question?
I'd probably
I have
laugh.
to know, Miss Trueblood, how old are you?
What? Maybe. But I just think some people look older than they are. Some people look younger than they are. And instead of guessing, I just wish I could, maybe they need a little flashing sign on their forehead or something.
Maybe we should put less significance on age.
Yeah. There's also that.
There's that too. Fine. Mess with my weird thought.
That's so funny.
Okay, are y'all ready for a good story? I love this one this week.
Yes.
Okay, this is a story out of the New York Times about 76-year-old Doug Whitney and his incredible history, and in my opinion, his selflessness. Um, he was expected to get Alzheimer's 25 years ago. It's a genetic diagnosis that his family, his mother, and 9 of her 13 siblings developed Alzheimer's in their prime and died within 10 years of Alzheimer's. His oldest brother, a number of his other relatives, this is going back lots of generations. And he didn't get it when he was supposed to. And the family talks about, the kids calling and saying, Mom, and she's going, I don't see anything. He's acting normal. When they first got pregnant, she was really worried about this, which I totally and completely get. I'm fixing to have a baby, and what's going to happen to you? Are you going to be dead before they're out of high school, kind of thing? So I get where they're coming from this, but they're doing superhuman research on him. He is a one-person focus, what they call a scientific unicorn. There are only 2 other people in the world, both of them who happen to be Colombian, who have found to have the mutation and not developed Alzheimer's. From a spinal fluid to reactions to neurological evaluations to blood draws, one of which requires him to lie still with a thermoplastic mask over his face for 30 minutes at a time. He travels from Port Orchard, Washington, where he lives, to a research hospital in St. Louis periodically for them to do research, for them to look at, what's going on with him. So he had this mutation that should have guaranteed that he developed Alzheimer's in his late 40s or early 50s. And he didn't. And so they're looking at him because they believe that they can find some of the cure for Alzheimer's because he's the outlier. He's out there. So they've been doing this 14 years. When they first tested him and he tested positive, the doctors didn't believe it because he had such a significant family history that they tested him 3 different times because they did not believe that he could not, could test the way that he did. But one of the fascinating things to me is when you're talking about the amyloids that collect in the brain and then they, create, those are proteins and they go wrong. And then there's a tau gene or I guess it's a tau protein. His have not developed the way everybody else in the family did. And one of the things that they're looking at, he was in the Navy and worked in the engine room. And they think the heat from the engine room may have affected the way those developed. And that may be a factor that has kept him from having Alzheimer's. I mean, it's just fascinating. He has DNA variants, but I mean, there's lots of things that they're looking at him and trying to study. I mean, I just think about this. This is a 76-year-old man who's going and letting them poke and prod him. This, to me, that's just amazing. Now, his son is 53, so his son is due anytime, but he's been in a clinical trial, and they don't know if he got the placebo or if he got the anti-amyloid drug, but he's not showing signs either. So they don't know how that has, so that now they have 2 of them. And then his son has a daughter who's 15 and she's already agreed to be tested to see if she, what her brain looks like and what is going on there. So yeah, they can't give you a straight answer about how many people get Alzheimer's a year, but the estimate is somewhere around 900,000 Americans getting Alzheimer's. There's a study that projects that by 2060, that 1 million people will have Alzheimer's. So here's this
Annually.
yeah, here's this scientific unicorn who is just selflessly helping to find answers.
I
Pretty
mean,
cool.
but also, can you imagine like gearing up, getting ready throughout your whole life, preparing to have this vicious disease, and then everybody going,
Wait,
it's not here.
yeah, where is it?
Where did it go?
He bought an F-150 and a ramp for nothing.
You got a point.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just amazed at somebody willing to do that for people that I'll never know.
Yeah. Thankful too.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Well, we're rooting for Doug and his family and extended family that A, they can remain healthy and safe, and B, that they can provide excellent resources and progress for the future. And maybe by 2060, we'll have a better handle on this.
What
How
if
cool
the
would that
answer
be?
is within his family?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
Great. Good news story, Mom.
Okay, love you guys.
Me too.
Love y'all.